All right. Hello, everybody. This is Scott Best, Agent Mastermind, and today we have a very, very hot topic, Pinterest, and I have my dear friend and partner with me, Tammy Grossman. Tammy, how you doing?
Hey, Scotty. I am doing so well, and I'm very, very excited to be teaching this to everyone because there has never been a better social marketing platform than Pinterest for the real estate industry, I believe.
I would 100% agree with you. And Tammy has spent, God, what, the last 2 months researching what all the buzz was on this
Yes.
Pinterest topic?
Yes. It's been quite a lot of stuff, and reading quite a bit and playing around with it myself and doing a lot of research online. So I think we've got the latest and greatest, best information to give to everyone.
Excellent. So what we're going to do today, Tammy, why don't I just let you take over and flip to the next screen. We'll talk about the agenda a little bit, and I'll let you cover that and what we're going to cover today.
Whoops. Okay. All right. So guys, today we're going to be covering some basics of Pinterest. This is going to be a two-part class. So today what I'd like to cover with you is why you should be using Pinterest, what it is actually, who's on it, knowing what the vocabulary is and all of that kind of stuff, how to go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you, where to sign in and how to put your username and password, how to create your profile and things like that, how to create multiple Pinterest pages if you want to, how to start pinning, some great pinning ideas, some good practices, and then give you some good board ideas at the end. And then next week, I've got a lot of samples on today, but we're not going to be able to go into deep depth with them. Next week, what I'd like to do with you guys is to take you through several real estate and real estate related industries, take you through their boards and tell you and critique them, basically tell you what's good about them, what they could have improved on, what's some good boards, how to get some great followers, how to market it, and how to build it up to be what I know could be a very, very, very lucrative board and a way of marketing your business. So that's kind of what we're going to be covering today, Scotty.
Excellent. So what I would appreciate if you guys could do is go to the group, and if you're not part of the group, we'll show it at the end of the presentation. But go to our Facebook private group, and if you'd like Tammy, she's going to pick a couple Pinterest boards of people that are currently using it. Maybe you just signed up and you put a couple things in there, but what we'd like you to do is post a link to your Pinterest board so others can see it, and then Tammy can take it and critique it for you, and we'll possibly cover your board next week in our number 2 series of Pinterest. Sound good?
That would be totally awesome. And guys, the only way you can grow and learn is to have people help you with that, and people who know what they're doing. So it is in no way a way to make fun of you or anything like that. It is truly to help you grow your business and make that board all it can be, just like the Army. Be all you can be.
I love it. Take the words out of my mouth.
So let's talk about why you should be on Pinterest. First of all, it is the fastest site ever in history to reach 10 million users in tech history. So one, it is growing very, very, very quickly. 10 million users is a lot. Number 2 is it's got almost 19 unique, not just hits, unique users in April of this year. 19 million, that's a lot. Third is that a call to action on Pinterest sees an 80% increase in engagement. So when you use Pinterest with the photos, and we show you how it's done, and you put a call to action on there, you will see an 80% increase in your engagement with people on Pinterest. Daily Pinterest users have increased over 145% since the beginning of the year. So as you can see, this is a very active website, and it is something that people are jumping on board with, and it is something that I believe, as I said at the beginning, is totally unique to the real estate industry that can really help build your business. And I'm going to tell you, go in depth with that next time, but I will explain that as well in just a few minutes. And as of January 2012, people were spending a lot of time on here, 97 minutes. That is a long frickin' time, to spend on a social website.
Is that per day?
Yes, I believe it's because of the visual nature of this, okay? Beautiful pictures, and just things that draw people, and one thing leads to another, and you push on one and it takes you to another board and another board and another board, and I think it's just the visual nature of it. And there's a couple girls in our office here who are addicted to it and just love it just because of the nature of it. And more than 1/5 of Facebook connected users are on Pinterest daily as well. So we know how humongous Facebook is, so to have 1/5 of their users coming over to Pinterest and using Pinterest as well, that's huge too. So those are a lot of reasons why you should use Pinterest. So what
Tammy,
is it? Go ahead.
Yeah, Tammy, this question you're going to answer right here is probably the #1 thing I get asked when I say, "Are you on Pinterest?"
Yes.
They go, "What is it?"
Okay, so here it is, guys. In nuts and bolts, in very, very simple terms, think of when you were growing, well, I can't say everybody on here, but for those of us who are, over 40 crowd, when I was growing up, in my room I had a cork board or a bulletin board or some kind of board, whatever you want to call yours, and you put things on it. You would put, your calendar on there. You would put your favorite things, things from magazines that you came across that you absolutely loved. So all of this stuff would go up on a bulletin board. And as you can see on here, they have paint swatches. They have their grocery list. They have their calendar. They have their things to do list. All kinds of stuff. So that is what Pinterest is for you. It is a bulletin board, but what is so unique about it is it's a virtual bulletin board. So as you're surfing the web, instead of having to use your bookmarks and remember where you put the bookmark and go remember what the bookmark was called, you can bookmark those things to your Pinterest page instead, and then you can put them in categories. So you can have beautiful homes for sale. And I'm just going to use some, since we're on a real estate class here, I'm going to use a lot of real estate examples on here. So you could have beautiful living rooms, beautiful dining rooms, beautiful bathrooms, home decorating ideas, just anything to do with the real estate industry, how to buy your home, how to sell your home, the best ways for, the best things that renovation gets, gets you for resale values. So just things like that. So you're going to be taking and making this virtual bulletin board, and you're going to have categories where people can go and look. And the best thing about this is that because of the viral nature of Pinterest, you can put things that are kind of related to the industry, but it doesn't always have to be buy a house from me, buy a house from me, buy a house from me, or let me sell your home, all the old stuff that everyone else does. You can put things in there, the newest and latest great tech innovations that are in the real estate industry, like new TV surround sounds and things like that men would find interesting, as well as women. And you can be posting things like that, and when they come back to your board because they found that interesting, then they find out that you're in the real estate industry as well. So we're going to be talking very, very in-depth about how to set up your boards and what you should be posting on those, but kind of keep that in mind that that's what this is. It's a virtual bulletin board.
One thing, and I don't know if I'm jumping ahead here, but isn't it true that 80% of the users on Pinterest are women?
It is. It is a very high demographic, and the demographic is between the ages of 25 and 45, but okay, that demographic is changing very rapidly. And I have a few boards that I'm going to show you guys that show you that that is the case. But right now, yes, the demographic is women. However, even if you're a gentleman real estate agent on here right now, that is to your advantage, because in most families, the woman has the buying power. I mean,
the decision making.
Really, she's the one who's going to live in the home. She's the one who is going to decorate the home. She's the one who makes the house what it is in most cases. And I'm being very general, and I'm not trying to be sexist, but in most families that's how it is. And so this is the demographic you're aiming for. And so again, that is why Pinterest is so perfect for this industry, because that age grade, 25 to 45, is in the home buying mode, and the women are the ones who are going to have a very large part in that decision-making property.
Excellent.
Yes. So what Pinterest does is it allows you to share products, pictures, and videos that link back to the site that they were found on, or link back to a site that you want them to go to, which is really, really important because a lot of people don't know that you can do that. You can change a link on a picture to go wherever you want it to go, which is huge, 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 huge. So, but it allows you to share all kinds of things on there in a picture form. Okay, and it is a community built for interaction, whereas some of the other social networks, although they're called social, they weren't built for, let me take you off the site, let me take you here, let me take you there, where Pinterest, that is what they encourage. They encourage you to take people elsewhere. They encourage you to network with each other and want to repin and repost and do all those things. So it is a humongous community for interaction, and you are encouraged to share and repin other people's things. So let's just briefly go, we're going to go through these sites very, very quickly, and the purpose of these is to show you who's on Pinterest, some of the big names on Pinterest, and if they are on here, it's a statement as to why I think this is important, and if they believe in it heavily, I believe you should as well. So we're going to start outside our industry, and then we're going to zip into our industry, okay? So this is Etsy, which is a community of like vintage and home buying and not home buying, but decorating stuff.
Yeah, weddings. Yeah.
Yeah, handmade things. Yes. So they have, this slide is probably when I started doing a lot of my research. It's, you know, probably about 2 months old now. So they are well over 95,000 followers.
That's insane.
Now. Yes, so they're still growing very, very quickly. So they're on here. American Eagle Outfitters, everybody knows who, you know, clothing store. They are at, you know, and again, these slides are a couple weeks old now, so they've got a lot more followers. You know, as of this date, they had 2,500, but they are very quickly growing. And keep in mind that a lot of these people are new to getting onto Pinterest, and so they just need to get their momentum going. But here's where I was talking about, it's not just for women. Chrysler has decided that they see a need for this. A lot of the big car companies are. So right now, they just got started. They only have 350 followers, but they are growing very quickly. Okay, so Chrysler's on here. Craftsman Tools is on here. I believe I took the slide out, but GE is on here, and they have a, you know, section on there of some of their biggest machines that they've ever built. So you can see that a lot of men-based companies are starting to see the need for being on Pinterest. But let's get back to some of the other ones that we have on here. HGTV, huge, huge, huge. They have 85,000 plus followers now. Kate Spade of New York, you know, the designer, she's on here with over 65,000 followers now. Nordstrom's. So some of the big shopping places are on here as well. Real Simple Magazine. And a lot of these, I believe, are things that really marry into our industry because Real Simple Magazine, HGTV, all of those sites are decorating and have to do with that. So when you start repinning some of their things and get seen on their sites because they've repinned, you've repinned some of their things, then it starts helping your followers grow. Okay, so Real Simple has 104,000 followers on there. Starbucks, they did not see the need for this a couple months ago, and someone else started their page for them. And then they quickly saw that this was going somewhere, so they took back over their page, and they have, you know, 8,500 followers now. Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Whole Foods, I mean, huge, huge market in organic and natural foods and things like that. Almost 40,000 followers now. Now let's move on to our industry. So here's several people who have gone ahead and started building a page for there, and they may not have the followers that we're seeing with the other ones for 4,600, 46,000, you know, but they're up here now, and they've got some great boards going. So when I show you the class next week on how to get your followers, it's really going to help you grow these numbers from 46 followers to 4,600 followers. So it can be done very quickly and easily if we follow the right steps. But, you know, here's a real estate one, Cindy Marlowe, Danbury Realtors, they got 119 followers, Hatteras Realty, Keller Williams is on here. We're going to go onto this page in depth next week because it was my very favorite Pinterest page, and they had quite a bit of followers on there. This is a guy who's new on here, and again, we're going to critique some of these pages. but at least he's on here. That's what I have to say. Bravo for him for at least getting started on here. The Core, they just are getting started on here as well. They're huge in New York. And then let's see, this one, I love this one, and this is one of the ones that we're going to really critique because they have 1,500 followers on here. Okay, wow. So we're going to really go into depth. You know, when you think about it, for a small community to have 1,500 real wow. followers on here is pretty big. So yeah. If you guys can really start learning how to grow your page, then it's really going to help your business quite a bit. So let's talk a little bit about Pinterest and a little bit about the vocabulary so you kind of know when I'm talking about things later on what I'm saying. So a pin is the actual graphic or picture or video that you're going to upload and put. So when you go to Pinterest and you see a photo, that's the pin, okay? The pin board is taking your pin and organizing it into different themes. So if we go back up to this one and we see these are the pin boards right here. So they have places and spaces, the living room, spaces, the kitchen, the dining room, the luxury places. So that is their different pin boards, or all of these different categories that they have on here. A pin it bookmark is a code that you put up in your browser of your web page so that someone can hit the pin it site and pin it right directly into their pin board. Okay, so you're going to definitely want to add that to your website, and we're going to talk about how to do that. A repin is when someone says, ooh, that's really cool, love the picture you just posted, or love what you just posted, I want to put that on my board as well, and they'll hit the repin button. So it's basically sharing, like in tweeting or in Facebook, sharing, okay? SEO is, hopefully everyone knows what that is, but it's called search engine optimization. Here is a little tidbit that a lot of people don't know. Pinterest is at the top of Google searches. So if you're trying to gain some momentum in search engine optimization, you need to be on Pinterest. Because when you get momentum and people start sharing and repinning, and it's one of the most viral places to pin, like kind of like YouTube, it's going to create a lot of backlinks for you, and it's really going to help with your SEO. And just like, you know, Google puts on, you know, their own Google Places up top and things like that, Pinterest is one of the top of the board things that get posted on to Google. A follower is someone who follows your pins or follows your pin boards. Okay, so they can follow you all together, or they can just follow one of your boards. So that's pretty nice too. Following is just the opposite. When you see someone that you say, hey, I really like what they have to say and what they're pinning, you can follow them as well. Sharing is when you see something that you like, instead of repinning it so that they see it, it's just like sharing it on Facebook or Twitter. So you're going to be taking what you've seen on this Pinterest website and sharing it over on Facebook or over on Twitter. So that's sharing. Likes are kind of like the same thing in Facebook. So you can like it, and it just says, hey, someone likes this. And commenting is just like below on Facebook, where you can comment on there and say, oh my gosh, that was the coolest pin ever. Good job. So that's kind of the vocabulary that we're going to be covering here just a little bit. Excellent. Now, I know that we give you guys a lot of stuff, and we're constantly saying, you know, here, try this, try this. Facebook is great. Oh, LinkedIn is great. Oh, you know, YouTube is great. You need to start this. You need to start that. And so I know you can get overwhelmed at times. So there may be something that you're trying to complete, because that's another thing that we teach quite heavily, is that, you know, if you start something, finish it before you start something new. So maybe you're not quite ready to start with Pinterest, but you see the need for it and you really like it, and you think this is something that you might have start really, really soon, but you're not quite ready. There are some things that you can do. First of all, you can go into Pinterest and just set up the account and reserve your brand name. Okay, I would highly recommend that you go in and reserve your brand name. Now, if you work for a large company like Remax or like Century 21, first of all, you need to make sure it's okay with your company to use their name. But second of all, you really need to consider how you want people to see you. Do you want them to see you as the Century 21 girl, or do you want them to see you as Tammy Grossman? It happens to be Schneider now, Mr. Husband. I changed my name officially yesterday.
Oh, good. Congratulations. Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. So do you want them to know who you are? and your own brand, or do you want to be branded by your company? So that's a big decision that you need to make. Personally, I say wherever you can to brand yourself. But if you see the need to brand your company, say you own your own company and you feel confident that you're always going to be around, you may want to brand your company, okay? Right. So I would highly recommend not branding someone else's company, though, in case you ever do leave. You've really created a buzz for them and you're stuck with nothing of your own. So, so you can reserve your brand name, you can connect it to your website or your blog, and you don't have to do much with it. But the biggest thing that I would encourage you to do is to go start doing some research. See what other people are pinning. See what's popular to them. See what is gaining momentum so that you know where to jump in when you're ready to make the move, okay? So you may not be ready right now. And I do see that someone's asking, you know, which is better, Facebook or Pinterest. So I can address that right here. I'm going to kind of go into depth with it in the next class next week. But
one thing, and one thing, Tammy, to kind of add to this little thing, if you're not ready or if you maybe have your Pinterest and you've created your brand, one thing I would recommend is to start following maybe some of your past clients or current clients to kind of see what they're using it for, which might give you an idea of what your past clients or current clients are looking for or would want to follow. Because really what it's all about is connecting with the people that know, like, and trust you so that they will refer their friends, family, and coworkers down the road when they're ready to buy or sell a home. So the more you're connecting and going deep with them and letting them know you're in the business, you're in Pinterest, you're doing cool stuff, and you have really cool pics of really cool things in different homes, and they see that, they like it, they share it. It's not so much about you, it's about them pinning it and sharing it with their other friends, family, and coworkers. They get you more exposure, and that's kind of the whole mindset behind this.
Yes, yes. And what I like about Pinterest that is different than other social networking blogs is the ability to do that categorizing, making those pin boards. On Facebook, when you make a post, the post that you make tomorrow and then tomorrow after that and the next day and the next day, they stack on top of each other. So if someone wants to go back and find what you said about decorating a home or the best way to stage a home or something like that, they have to sift through a lot of information to see if they can find that. Well, if they go to your pin board, you can have a whole section on how to stage a home. And so if you make sure that you categorize and you have, you know, maybe 10 to 16 different boards, but you don't need to have 100, then people can very easily find your past posts because you've got them categorized, and makes it very easy for them to find information that you've posted up there, which is one of the things I just love about it. And it's so visual, too. That's one of the big things I love about it as well.
You know,
so go ahead.
You know what blows my mind, Tim, and not to interrupt you, but you know, when you said 90-something minutes or 80, I mean, I just Googled that again, and there's another one that says 89 minutes a day.
Yeah.
That just, like, oh my God, that just blows my mind that people are spending that much time on Pinterest.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah. So there's a couple ways that you can sign up for Pinterest. In the very, very, very beginning, you could go and you could request an invite from Pinterest, and it could take a day, it could take a week, it could take some time for them to get back to you and respond and say, yeah, you know, here's your code, sign in. So this is kind of a crapshoot to do it this way. You can go and request an invite. You may get one instantaneously from them, or you may be put on a waiting list. No idea, okay? The other way is to get a friend of yours who is already on Pinterest to give you an invite. So if
I would,
you don't
you
have...
know, maybe try contacting the loan professional that sent you here to see if they're on Pinterest. If they are, have them invite you.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's a great idea, and that's what I was going to suggest. If you guys need an invite, you know, find a friend who's on there already, and get them to invite you, so that because you get an instantaneous invite that way.
Correct.
But if you want to try it this way, you can as well, and you may get the invite right away. I'm just telling you that there's two different ways to do it. Go ahead.
The other thing I was going to say is if for some reason you don't have anybody that has Pinterest and all else fails, you could always go to the Facebook group, our private Facebook group, and say, hey, could somebody invite me to Pinterest so I could get signed up?
And you would have to provide us with your email address.
Correct.
To do that.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So so that's one. And another way, and we're going to talk about that, setting up multiple pages, but if you do have one account on here and you want to open up one for your business, you can invite yourself. So that's a great way to do that.
Great.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
So you put your, when you ask Pinterest for one, you put your email address in here that you want to have associated with this, and you send in, request an invitation, and then they're going to email you your invite if they're not backed up, okay? So you will click on this link right down here to set up your account when you're doing that, okay? And but the other way is to ask someone to invite you, okay? So, another thing that you're going to have to do is you have to, there's no getting around it right now, when you set up Pinterest, you have to link it to either your Facebook account or your Twitter account. You have to. Now, the great thing about that is you can go in and unhook it once you're finished, okay, which you need to do if you're going to create these multiple accounts like we were talking about. But you're going to have to choose to sign up with Facebook or Twitter, so pick one of those when you're signing up. Okay, so when you use Facebook to, and that's what we did with all of ours, so most of our examples are going to be using Facebook. You will add the Pinterest app onto your Facebook account, and now when you're posting Pinterest things, you can post directly into your Facebook, so you can have them integrated and going back and forth each other, so you get even more exposure that way, which is the name of the game in our business, right?
Right, absolutely. Yeah, so now it kind of removes the steps. So if you go to Pinterest, pin something, it's automatically going to go to your Facebook page. So you don't have to worry about pinning it, go on your Facebook page, post it. It's just going to kind of all talk together.
Correct.
Which is a great thing.
Okay, so you're going to need to create a username and password. So you're going to create this. You're going to have your email address and the password that you want. As soon as you get all of that stuff done, Pinterest is going to bring this page up, and they're going to say, tell us what you like. Because we're going to help you out here in just a few seconds and suggest some people that we think you should follow. So in our business, I mean, we have a wide variety of things that we can be interested in. You know, architecture. Some people can do the art, the design, the do-it-yourself stuff, the food and drink, the gardening. That's a great one right there. Things for the home, things for the holiday. We have outdoor things. So there's a lot of things on here that you can say that you're interested in. And once you do that, Pinterest says, hey, we're going to have you follow people already that are really popular on here that we think you'll like. Now, if you don't like their suggestion, you can unfollow them. So right here is this little button that says, no, I don't want to follow them. So you can undo it. So, you know, before we had picked like architecture and design. So they're going to have you follow people automatically. They help you out there. But you can say no thanks if you want to. So after you get all of that stuff set up, now you can go in and you can start creating your own boards. Now, Pinterest already has a lot of different categories set up for you. So all of these are categories that they already have set up. Okay? Now you can go in and you can change these names so they don't say favorite places and spaces anymore or books worth reading. You can change it to say what you want it to do, or you can add your own categories in there. So if you want to keep those and then add some more, you can do that as well. So you can add them there and you can create here. Okay?
So pretty much it's open, fair game, whatever. I mean, if you want one for bike riding or you want one for, you know, cool leaves, or I mean, whatever you want, you can put it on there.
Correct.
Yep.
And then the last thing you want to do is there's a pin it button that you can add up into your browser bar. And I hate doing this, but we're going to do this. We're going to go live so I can show you what I mean in case we don't have here.
And I would highly recommend this too. This makes it real easy to set
and apparently I've hidden all of my bars here, and I'm kind of computer illiterate. So, but anyways, up here in your bars right here, you can add something that says pin it right here. Okay? And then whenever you're on the web anywhere, say you go to here and you say, oh my gosh, love this page, you hit the pin it button and it automatically pins it into your Pinterest account. So you're definitely going to want to do that. So let's go back to our presentation here and slideshow from the current slide. There we go. So it installs not only on Chrome on all of them, but and Pinterest is going to lead you through these steps. So you don't need to find these. You're going to get led down the little yellow path here to do this. It'll say add this to your link. So you just click on it and it'll put it up in your browser bar for you, and it will give you the instructions on exactly how to do that, which you need to do. See, it's right up here in the bar right there. So you just take this right here and you push the button and you drag it and you drop it, and it's on your bar. So couldn't be any easier than that. And now we're going to start building our profile. So do we have any questions about anything up to what we've covered so far about getting signed up with Pinterest? So there's two ways to do it. One is you can ask them for an invite. Two, you can have a friend invite you.
Yep.
And
the one was like, how do you get people to like your board? Like, so what's going to happen is, doesn't it?
That's next week's class. We're going to really go into depth on how to get followers and how, and I have like 6 or 7 different ways to do that. So we're going to really cover that in depth next week.
Perfect.
So this is kind of a basics, and so I'm sorry if there's some people on here who are kind of more advanced and already have their Pinterest board going, but I promise next week's class going to amaze you. So you don't want to miss
Here's a question. Are there different content suggestions for office pages versus agent pages? Which they're literally, you can Google anything or put anything out there that you want. I mean, and if you want to, what I would recommend is going out and start researching different real estate Pinterest boards, maybe home Pinterest boards. Just find out, kind of get an idea, and spend a couple days before you start creating yours. Because what I did is kind of like when you're looking at buying a new car and you're like, ooh, I like that car. Ooh, I like that car. Ooh, I like, and you can kind of make all those cool cars into one board and kind of put it all together. So you can kind of get an idea of what fits your passion, what fits your interest, what you think your past clients, current clients like, your friends or family and stuff like that. So you make it really cool.
And we are going to be covering this in just a few seconds, and it may be the next slide or the slide after that. But you can have multiple boards, and I would highly suggest that. If you like to use Pinterest just for a hobby, and to just mark cool things that you come across on a daily basis, favorite recipes, favorite sayings, just things like that that you want for yourself but you don't necessarily want your clients to see, I would suggest having 2 separate boards. So you're going to have one for personal, where you can plan your kids' birthday parties, great party ideas. You can, favorite vacation ideas, pictures of you guys, on vacation and things like that, which is your private board. And then you can have a business board, okay? And I'm going to show you how to set that up in just a few minutes. Your business board would be where you have just anything and everything that people would want to know about real estate, okay? And it can be a lot of different things. It doesn't just have to be, how to buy a house. And we're going to cover that in just a few minutes. But let's go ahead and finish getting our account set up, and then I'll show you how to set up the multiple boards. So first you're going to be putting your email address in, which everyone should have done already when you were setting it up. You can change your email address, and you can change your password if you want to. Now, this is where you want to really set up your profile well. Is setting up your first name and your last name, okay? If you're going to be using your own name to brand yourself, that's what you're going to put in here. So I would put Tammy as my first name, Schneider as my last name. And then if you have a designation or something like that, you would put it right after your last name. So it would be Schneider, comma, and if I was, like a commercial real estate agent or whatever, I would put my designation after that, okay? So that's how you set that up. If you are a company and you've got your own real estate company and you want to set it up that way, then you would set up your first name and your last name as your company in here, because that's what's going to be showing up in the board. And I'll show you an example of what that looks like in just a minute, okay? And then your username, which you should have already picked before. Now, just like on Facebook when you were picking your fan page name, and then you wanted to get a private URL for it, facebook.com/themarketinganimals or whatever, only one username per person. So if you guys want this username, that's why I suggest if you're not quite ready for Pinterest yet, go at least snag your username, okay? Because people are going to see that when you're commenting and making comments on different things. So again, make your username as close to your first and last names as you can, because when you start pinning all over creation, you want people to come to recognize your name and your picture as to who you are so that they start following you. Okay, so this is really probably one of the most important parts that I could tell you, is making sure that you get your profile set up and using that first name and last name and username correctly, okay? So you wouldn't want to put in there as a username, catch-22, because no one would know what that means, okay?
Right.
So you could put, your username, Tammy campus favorite realtor or whatever, if you are allowed to use the word realtor in there, if you've got the realtor designation, and you're allowed to use that. Now, be very careful when you're trying to use realtor, because that is a trademark name, so you have to go in and research whether you're allowed to use that or not, okay? So, but just be careful when you're choosing your username, your first name and last name, because it shows up, and I'm going to show you a couple of the places that it shows up, okay? So the second most important thing is to make sure that you fill this about section out. You would not believe how many ones I came across when I was doing all of this research, especially for the real estate industry, how many people left that blank, or how many just put, call me at 727 blah, 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 and put their phone number in there with nothing else in there, okay? What Pinterest does to help you with, one, with SEO, and two, with people finding you, and three, with getting you ranked on here, is they are really huge into keywords, okay? So you need to be very careful with putting keywords into a lot of different places. So one, if you're not using your name as a brand, like Tammy Schneider, like we talked about, first name, last name, and you're using your business name, make sure that it's got keywords in it. So if you want to put real estate in there, you know, if I was using Tammy, I would say, you know, Tammy's real estate office, or Tammy's real estate business, or Tammy's residential real estate, whatever. You know, real estate is a keyword. So I would want to make sure that I put that in there. Now, if I don't want to, if I'm just branding myself and I'm putting Tammy Schneider in there, I'm going to put the keywords now in my about. So make sure that when you explain who you are and what you do, that you're using your keywords. I help people buy and sell residential real estate, commercial real estate, income-producing real estate. Whatever it is that's your specialty or your niche or whatever, make sure you put those keywords in there. That's number one. Number two, but you don't have a lot of space to do this with, so you got to make sure that you really sit down and concentrate on what you want to do here. Second is you need to put a URL of some kind in here. So if you have a great blog or a great website that you want people to go back to, or to be able to know specifically about who you are. Now, if you're working for a big company like Century 21 or Remax, you would not want to put www.century21.com in here, because people would never find you on there, okay? So this link that you're going to be put in here is something to help people find you specifically, so that they can follow and get to know you a little bit better. So whether you have your own personal website or a personal blog that you write for, or put your Facebook, you know, facebook.com/whatever, places where people can find out about you a little bit more, and then of course your phone number can go in there.
Awesome.
Your location, and then there's a second place to put your website, but I would highly, highly recommend putting your website in that About Me section as well. Go ahead.
And I think you have to have the, correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't even know this, but you have to have the HTTP when you put a website in the About section, kind of like you do in YouTube.
About section, you know, I'm not sure about in the About section.
That.
I don't think you have to, but down in the website section you do.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. The third most important thing, okay, so we've got filling out your profile correctly with picking out your username and password. Second is making sure that About Me section is filled out. The next thing is the image. This is like critical. It is what people are going to start associating you with on here. So whether you want it to be your smiling face or your company logo, you got to make it count and make it good. Okay, so you can upload an image. You can have the image that you already use on Facebook brought in here. Now it is going to connect to your Facebook personal page, not your Facebook fan page. Okay, so keep that in mind as well. So
wouldn't you recommend,
go ahead.
Tammy, wouldn't you recommend having, like, if you're building your brand, wouldn't you recommend, and we talk about this, having the same picture across all platforms?
Absolutely.
Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest. So like when they start seeing you and when they Google your name, if they're searching for you, I mean, if, like, believe it or not, people do it. I do it all the time on their phone. If I want to research somebody before I meet them, I just Google it either on my phone or on my computer and to see where they're at, you know, what they're using, how they're branding themselves, so I know when I can go in to help. So that's really important. Keep that the same all across all the platforms.
It is, and we don't have time to go into it today,
right.
But I have a whole, probably almost an hour-long class, and I would be happy to teach that or give you the information to teach it yourself on
sure.
how to pick a profile picture because it is
Awesome.
because it is such a recognizable thing, and that's how people are going to get to know you, like you, trust you, and associate you with every site that they're on, that you're on. It's very important that you make sure that this picture that you select is the best representation of you and your company. So we do have a whole class on that, and I can get you all that information so you can share that with them, Scotty.
Absolutely, that'd be wonderful, Sammy.
Okay, so we'll just do briefly a recap here. So be thorough when you're filling out your profile. Don't just slap up something and just go on your merry way. If you don't have time to fill it out, just make time, later on in that week to make sure that you get it filled out properly, because it's really going to help you quite a bit with getting ranked on here, getting your SEO helped out with, and all of that kind of stuff. Make sure that you get a beautiful quality logo or headshot put in here. Don't leave out any of the fields. Put your description in there. Add the links to your blog or your website in the About section. Make sure you use keywords in your description as well so that you can help with that SEO stuff. Now, you can set up multiple accounts, and we're going to go back to that slide before. So to set up a multiple account, you're going to have to, okay, so you've got your personal one where you're telling about your kids' birthday parties and the vacations that you've had and your favorite wine this past weekend and all of that kind of stuff. You got your personal one going. Now you want to build one for your business. Now, there are some people who don't believe in having it up for their personal stuff. They never want people to know anything about what's going on in their life, and that's fine too. Or you may have two different companies. Say you've got your real estate company, and then on the side you have a little decorating business, okay? And they don't really mix well together. You want to keep the two companies separate, so you need to have two different accounts going here, okay? So to do that, you're going to start your first one, and remember we talked about you have to have it linked to Facebook or linked to Twitter, okay? But what you're going to do is you're going to go in first, go into your Pinterest account, go up into your About section, About You, and you're going to unlink yourself from Facebook or Twitter. So that's the first thing you need to do. Then you're going to send yourself an invite. So you're going to invite yourself, and you have to invite yourself at a separate, different email address than you used before. Okay, and then you're going to go through the exact same steps that we did to set up the original one, okay? So when you go into it, you're going to edit your profile. You can see all the buttons right here. Facebook, it will be on, depending on which one, hide, or turn it off right here, and that's how you would do that. If you set up a personal account and you decide, I don't want to have a personal account, after all, I just want my business accounts, you can delete your account altogether, okay, and then save profile. So that's how you set up. So let's go ahead and show them really quickly how they would post something or pin something. And we've got about 15 minutes, so we're doing good on time. We got questions, Scotty?
No, I think there's a couple, but I think we can get them at the end. We'll just cover this, and then you might actually cover some of the stuff.
Perfect.
So.
Okay, so now we want to pin stuff. You got your account set up, you need to set up some boards, and you want to start pinning on here. Okay, so remember earlier when we added that pin it bookmark onto our browser bar, okay? So it was up here. They have a couple different things. They have this little round one here, or they have the words pin it. So you're going to have this in your browser bar. So say you're surfing the web and you come across this great blog or this great article or this great picture or something that you want to share. I loved it. Okay, so loved this article on riptides. You know, I'm here in Tampa and I want to share with my, this one actually was an article taken from New Jersey. I want to share with my new people to the area and stuff like that, new people information about the beach and things like that. So I want to share with them about the riptides. So I found this great article on it. So I'm just going to hit pin it right here. And it's going to say, okay, love this article. We're definitely going to pin it. Now on this page, there's about 8 different pictures, okay? So let's go on to the next slide here. So it's going to bring up every picture that is on that blog page. So all of these pictures were on that blog page. And it's going to say which is the picture that you want to associate with the blog that you want to do. And of course, it's this beachy one right here. So I'm going to click on that one, okay? And then it's going to bring us to this here, and it puts the URL in here right here. And then it's going to ask you, what board do you want to put this onto? So you will have created back earlier, remember when we talked about different categories and different boards that you can post, you'll have made all of those, and we're going to go into some ideas for those later. So you're going to put onto the board that you want to do, and then a description of it right here. So you're going to write a really good description. Again, this was just, very quick like we did, but again, you want to use keywords again, and you want to make sure that it's a good representation of what the article was about. So riptides you would want to use in there, Florida beaches I would want to use in there, just different things, just so that when people do searches, because remember, because it's such a visual board, that people are going to have to do searches for it, and the only way they can do that, because there's no words associated with these pictures, is by tags and by descriptions that you put in here. So you need to make sure that you're tagging it and putting good descriptions in, okay? So once you've got, go ahead.
And a good topic that might be that for you as a real estate agent is to have a place like reasons to live in your city. So like reasons to live in Kalamazoo, and then you would take a picture of that, or you would take a picture of a famous restaurant. You'd take a picture of something really fun to do in your city that would give you reasons to, like when you go there or when you drive by or take pictures, you can pin that stuff to your boards, and then people are searching that, and they can connect with you in that way. And it makes it fun.
So we've got the blog we wanted to pin. We hit our little browser bar where it says pin it. It brought us to here. We picked the picture that we wanted. We've put the category we wanted it in. We've got a great description in here. And now all we do is hit this pin it right here button, and we are good to go there. And now here's my board right here, and here's my pin. Okay? So it just brings everything up just like there, and you can see now that it has my picture. Well, this was Carl's board I posted it on too, but it's got the picture and the name right here. Okay, so that's why you want to make sure that you've got your name here. So this would be, in my case, Tammy Schneider, or if I had picked Schneider Real Estate, I would have Schneider as my first name, and Real Estate would be my last name. So this would show up, Schneider Real Estate, that way, and then I'd have my picture, and if I had a logo, I would have that as well. So, so that's how that you can pin one way. Another way that you can do that is that you can add a pin by hand. So you go onto your pin board and you push the add button right here. So say you were on vacation and you took some great pictures, or you have been out and about in your town and you're trying to, like you said, Scotty, get people enticed to want to spend time in your town. So you go out and you take pictures of, the mountains, you take pictures of, the beach, you take pictures of the best golf courses and things like that, and they're all loaded on your computer. But now those aren't a URL that you can pin it from. So you want to make this pin, but you have no way to do that because it wasn't a URL. Well, you can add your own. So you're going to go in here and you're going to click Add a Pin right here. And then if it was connected to a URL, you would do that. And if it wasn't, you can upload a picture from your computer, and then you connect a link to it, which would be back to your blog again, or back to your website. So you can say, I want to add a pin, I want to upload a pin, I want to create a board right here. Okay, so once you hit that add button, it's going to ask you what you want to do. Okay, so it says if you collect, which we did, clicked, upload a pin, it will ask you to browse your files and pick where you want to pin it, and then you choose the board that you want it to go to right here, and now you get to pick the URL that you want to associate this picture with, which is really cool. Okay, so you would pick out a great URL in here that would lead them again back to your website, or back to your blog, or back to your Facebook page, or something that has to do with you. Okay, and then you're going to click Pin It. Let's see, and when you're viewing your pin, if you just hover over the picture right here.
Who's that skinny guy?
Haha. It's going to say, do you want to edit this pin, or do you want to repin? Well, this is where you do a lot of cool stuff. So if you hit edit over the picture. Now, one trick that we used on here is that you can't put a direct video onto Pinterest, but you can take a screenshot of a picture of a video. So say you had YouTube or something like that you would put a video up. If you go in Jing or screen capture that picture with the play button over it, and then you upload the play button in here, now what you can do is go into the edit right here, and you put where you want it to go to right here. So if you do a weekly tip or weekly strategy, you can put your picture in there, and then you put the link where you want it to go to right here. And this is another great tip to remember when you're repinning or you're taking other people's photos and using other stuff. I highly recommend that you guys give credit where credit is due. But you can change where the link goes to. So instead of it going to, if you put an ice cream cone in there, instead of the pin going back to your ice cream shop, you can put the link going back to your page and, where you had an article on the best ice cream shops in the area. So, and then you would hit Save Pin, okay? This is where you can create new boards as well. So if you don't want to go back and find all those categories and start changing them, you can add boards, those categories right here as well. So you would hit that Add button that we saw on that first page, and then you would say Create a Board here, which is those categories like my favorite places to eat, my favorite places to go in Kalamazoo, my best houses in Kalamazoo. So different things like that. You're going to name what the board is. Remember the one that we saw earlier that said spaces, kitchen, spaces, living room, spaces, bathroom, spaces, outdoors. So you can do that if you want to as well. Okay, so you're going to set a board name, the category that you want to put it in. This is a really, really, really cool feature. You can say who can pin on here. So on your whole board, if you want to have a guest pinner or like a guest referral partner, so say you're a real estate agent and you work with a title company all the time, or you work with a real estate attorney quite a bit, or other people who help you in your industry, a landscaper, a pool guy, your favorite electrician. You can build boards and allow them to be guest pinners. Now, they can't pin on your whole rest of your board, but they can pin on that one board for you and be your expert in there. So this is really cool for allowing other people to help you pin and put up content on your board. So it says who can pin, and then you can add them on here, okay? When you start typing their name and they're already on Pinterest, a whole group of names will start popping down, and you just add them in there, okay? And then you hit Create Board. Okay, so this is what happens when you've pinned something. So someone pinned something, and now you just put your mouse and hover over that picture. These are all the choices that you have that come up. You can either repin their pin. So Kathy put this up here. You can repin it. You can just like it and say, "Ooh, I thought this is cool," but you didn't, comment on it. You can also add a comment, or there's a whole separate board out there that's kind of like a next level. It's kind of like an app on Facebook that it's called Pin to Like Mike, and it kind of puts it into another category for you, but not everyone has that, so we won't cover that in depth right now. But all of those choices are what you have when you hover over the picture. Okay, so if you clicked the repin, so I'm on your site, Scotty, you post something really cool that I like, and I want to put it on my site now, I'm going to hit that repin button, and it's going to say, where do I want to put it? Well, I'm going to put it into favorite closets, because I built a board that said favorite closets. I'm going to put that on there, and then I'm going to put a great description in here.
Which would be a great title, actually.
Good.
Closet. I mean, that'd be a good one.
Yes.
For a real estate agent.
And make sure that there's keywords in here. If you want people to find you as a real estate agent, they may not be putting in there, a house for sale that has a great shoe closet. But if you put, great closets and great shoe closets and put a whole bunch of good keywords in here, and someone's putting up in the search bar, looking for great closet ideas, your pin is going to come up, and then when they click on your pin, it's going to take them back to your boards, which then shows them, oh, they're a real estate agent, they got a lot more stuff. So you can see how if you start pinning correctly and you start doing things the right way, all roads lead back to you, which is great, okay?
Absolutely.
So make sure you put great. These were very short descriptions. I would use every bit of real estate, pun intended, there to tell people what this is about, and use great keywords in there so that they can find you when they're looking for you, okay? So when someone repins your pin, anyone going through their pins is going to see that the pin came from you. So like we saw before that girl's name was Kathy. So when we repinned this, it said we repinned it via Kathy. So if someone says, oh, Carl pinned it and he really liked Kathy, I'm going to click on her. So now people are finding you because their friends saw something interesting on your board, and they can go in and they can push, you know, hey, Tammy Schneider knows something about closets. Let me go see what she has to say about other things as well. Okay?
Is this your shoe closet, Tammy?
No. You don't want to see mine.
Okay.
So that's kind of the basics right there, guys, on how to set up your page, how to actually, you know, what buttons to push and how to do things. So what we're going to cover really briefly now, because we're going to go into depth with this next week, is going to go into some good ideas to get your creative juices flowing, so that when I give you your homework reports here at the end, which is not really hard, honest, that you'll know what to do. So there's some different things that you can pin. So there's a difference between pins that you can make and boards that you can have, okay? So remember, the pin is the very specific, this right here is the pin, okay? So this was my pin. The board, or the category or ideas, was this up here, words, okay? So keep those in mind as we're talking about this. So we're talking about pin ideas right now. So what make really good pins, okay? So what make good pins are descriptive photos and inspirational photos. So that's what this is talking about here. They're all motivational. They're all, you know, I can do it, and beautiful pictures. I mean, a black and white with this green coming up, they have to be eye-catching, and they have to be something that really draws and inspires, okay? So a good pin is going to be a descriptive photo or an inspirational photo. It's going to be a killer infographic or a how-to. So right here you can see these are some great infographics here. You know, everyone likes charts to see how they work. A great thing that this one did is it says 20 reasons to go to Google, and they clipped the photo right in the middle of it, right here. So it only goes to 6. And so you're like, well, I want to know what the rest of them are, and so you have to click the link to see the rest of them, and the link takes you back to the page that they wanted you to go to, like your blog or your website, okay? So those are some great things that you do. So an infographic or a how-to is another great pin. Posting your webinars or your classes or links to them is a great pin ideas. This is perfect for real estate agents. Oh my gosh, do-it-yourself stuff. How to make your own candles, how to make your own garden, how to make your own no-slip hangers, and how to make those closets really pretty. So how to, and do it yourself, and you know, how to get the ink stains out of carpet, you know, just things like that. So the sky is the limit here, guys, because these are great pin ideas on helpful ideas. People love it when you help them. Coupons, this is another great thing if you are just very area specific, okay? So you only sell in Palm Harbor, Florida, okay? Or Kalamazoo, Michigan, that's it, okay? You can go to the businesses in your area, like JoJo's Pizza and Kelly's Florist, and, you know, the local dry cleaner and stuff like that, and you can say, hey, I have a ton of followers that I love to provide good information to and great value. Do you have any coupons that I can put up on? And then you can use these coupons at their places. It just does not have to be for Pinterest. But, you know, do you have some coupons that I can use for my Pinterest page, for my newsletter, for my blog, for my whatever? And then start putting those. You take a picture of it.
Wow.
Like a jing or something like that, and then you put that up on here, and then the link can go back to your website or your blog where they can actually print the coupon off. So this is a great thing, you know, ways to save money in Kalamazoo. And then you put, you know, a discount to the gym, or, you know, a buy one, get one free to the spaghetti factory, or whatever you want to on here. And you can see, you know, even national chains, you know, go to the local, you know, rack room or whatever that's in your area, and they have coupons that you can put up here, okay?
That's a great idea. I love that idea.
If you're doing weekly video tips, this is another great thing. So videos are great pins. People love, love, love videos. And again, because Pinterest doesn't take a video, you would have to jing the thumbnail right here with it on here, and then you go in to edit the picture and you add the link, okay? So, so that makes a great pin ideas. For real estate agents, hello, perfect is the homes that you have for sale, okay? So says right
Or have
here.
sold. I had seen one lady had actually a sold section of the pictures of the homes. I mean, there's so many different things you can do. New homeowners, congratulations homeowner, I mean, all kinds of stuff.
Right, right. So, I mean, great ideas. So let's talk about things that you can do to make your board count. And we're going to start winding down here. We're probably going to go over like 5 minutes, guys, so I hope that's okay with you. And then next week we're going to go in depth to some really great posts, how to get your followers, how to build your page, how to do all of those kind of things, okay? So one, make sure you have a descriptive photo. That is the basis and why Pinterest was created. It is totally visual, okay? So I can't say that words mean nothing because some of the pictures that you take can be of words, but they have to be just like when we showed that the words on that very first thing were visual with the green flower coming up or the clouds in the sky. They can be, the picture can be of words, but the picture itself has to be beautiful and it has to be descriptive and it has to make people want to click on it, okay? Make sure that your photos are top quality. You can't have blurry, you can't have, you know, someone's head cut off, you can't have all those kind of things. They have to be beautiful picture. Again, this is a very visual social marketing platform, okay? This is probably the key to everything. So if you haven't learned one thing other than setting up a good profile, this is the key. Make sure that every single one of your photos has a good tag on it, and that it's not naked, okay? You have to have a link going back to somewhere. You want a link linking back to you and your brand, otherwise you're doing this really for nothing, okay? So you need to make sure that you go in and you edit every photo that you put up there and you make it go where you want it to go, okay? It has to lead back to you, your blog, your website, your Facebook fan page, wherever you want it to go. It has to link back to you in some way, shape, or form. I can't emphasize that enough. That is probably, you know, the very top thing I can tell you today is to make sure that your pictures are tagged properly and they have links going to where you want them to go. The next one is provide infographics. People love to be taught. They love to learn new different things, and they love them in step 1, step 2, step 3, okay? That is why commercials are really great, you know, at doing that. They provide information in 30 seconds or less. So what you're really doing is you're taking a commercial, what some people used to listen to like as an hour-long program is now a 30-second commercial. We have just gotten to where our attention span has gotten littler and littler and littler, and so you have to be able to concentrate what is in your head, what are the things that you've learned, the things that you find visually attractive. They all have to be merged down into this one little photo that will just capture someone, okay? So make sure that you provide good infographics that will do that as well. Give helpful tips and ideas. If you're selling something, and we're going to go into this in next week's class, how to get your price up there, but you can include the price of your home on there. Use your boards everywhere. Put a link to your board and your pin it button everywhere. You want to put it on your Facebook fan page. You want to put it on Twitter. You want to put it in your email signature, on your blog, on your website, in LinkedIn. And always have a call to action. So that is going to go into your description underneath the photo. Call me at, register for, sign up for this free, blah. So a call to action tells somebody what to do, and you always want to have a call to action, even if it's to something for free, you know. So that is. So what are you going to use Pinterest for? One is you can use it to brand yourself. You can drive traffic. You can increase your SEO and your optimization. You can use it for research. Oh my gosh, you can use Pinterest to find what's trending and what people are talking about so that you can really see what's happening in the industry, okay? And provide value to people. This is how to do this, how to get the best value for your money, how to, again, stage your home, how to, you know, set the table, how to get soap scums off your bathroom mirrors and the doors. Okay, so there's a lot of things that you can do that provide value to people.
One I want to add to that, Tammy, is like the research, which kind of goes along the same lines, is listening. Like you can actually listen to what's going on too by following your, you know, people you know, like, and trust, to find out, like Tammy said, what's trending. It's kind of called listening to. It's a great way to find out what's going on out there and what people are most interested in, because you're going to see a bunch of repins or a bunch of likes or a bunch of shares, stuff like that, inside Pinterest on different things. So you can see what people like, and maybe one of your friends or clients or people that you're working with might have interest in something, you can see them pin it.
Yes, and that's a great point, that you can see how many pins something has. So look right next to it, and it tells you this has been repinned 500 times. This has been repinned 1 time. This has been repinned 50,000 times. Okay, so so that's a great way to see what people are interested in. If something has been repinned 50,000 times, oh my gosh, there's something to be said for that. So see
exactly.
what was good about it, see what they posted, see what their description was, see what was in the photo that made it great, okay, and then try and recreate that, okay. So play nice, use nice words with people. I mean, this is because it is so viral in nature. You want to make sure that you're playing nice. Always give credit where credit's due. If someone posts an unbelievable picture, don't take their name off the picture. Go ahead and say, I got this from Keith, but you can change the description below it, okay? So just give credit where credit's due, okay? Don't try and steal someone else's stuff, but you can certainly redirect it to somewhere else. You can redirect it to you as long as you say that I got this from so-and-so, okay? Don't make it all about you. This is not for you. This is how you can help your clients the best. And how do you help them the best? You give them those cool infographics. You give them those cool how-tos, those do-it-yourselves, those weekly tips that are videos, those, this is my favorite restaurant. Here's a great coupon, okay? It is not about buy a house from me, buy a house from me, I'm the best seller ever, I'm the best whatever, okay? It's not about you. It's about the people you're serving.
Amen.
Okay?
I cannot stress that enough. I mean, you got to remove yourself from it. I hate to say it, but make it about other people, make it about other situations, other scenarios, other everything, and take yourself out of it. And you'll be so much more successful with all the social media sites because they want to know how you're going to help them or how it's going to benefit them or why they should be following you or why they should be a part of your organization or stuff like that. So just think about that when you're creating your brand.
Yes, and use original content as much as possible. Yeah. So if you have, the best 4 steps for selling your house, or the 4 steps for, building a new deck, or the 10 steps for cleaning your pool or getting your pool ready for the summer, or, the 8 steps to planting the perfect garden. Everyone is good at something. Everyone. There's no one on this call who doesn't have a beautiful hobby or something they love or something that they've experienced that they can't turn into information, okay? So make as much original content as you can, okay? And make it as visual. The key to this is taking what's in your head, in your mind's eye or whatever, and creating it in a photo, okay? And making it very visual. Okay, so we talked about pinning ideas, which were, making pins that had good words in them or pins that were videos or whatever. So now we need to know what some good board ideas are, okay? So the board ideas that you guys can have are products. So if there are products that you guys really love, like my favorite products for cleaning are this, this, and this. My favorite products for building are these tools, blah blah blah. So if there's products you really like, you can put those up there. We talked about this one, featured business partners. So you can put your favorite title company up there, or your favorite real estate attorney up there, or your favorite restaurant owner in the area up there. Your featured business partners can be up there. You can have a whole board about your brand and who you are, and if you're a philanthropist and you help people and you work with charities and stuff like that, what you represent, who you are at the core, at the heart. Saving money, those coupons that we talked about, so you can have a section on that. Decorating, recipes. People love recipes, especially good organic and healthy lifestyle stuff is huge now. Travel, if you like to travel or you have great tips for helping them save money as they travel, great. Your favorite hobby, your favorite gardening ideas, do-it-yourself stuff, favorite recipes, marketing tips. If you have business partners like those attorneys that we're talking about and you can teach them how to grow their business, put your marketing tips up there as well. Home buying and selling tips. So you don't want to leave that one out. Of course, properties for sale, income properties for sale, properties for rent. So there's a lot of different boards that you can have up, and we're going to go into those in depth next week, okay?
Excellent.
So here is a little bit of your homework for next week, okay? I want you guys to go and find some really cool real estate boards, okay? And the way you can do that and find out what people are pinning and what's popular is you search for those keywords that we talked about. So we're going to go back live for 2 seconds. Let me go through the words first, and then I'll go show you what I mean. Okay. So
Great.
up in
This
the
is one of
search
the
bar,
questions, too. Yeah,
you
like
can
search
put homes
like,
for sale, house for
yeah.
sale, properties for sale, just the word properties, or townhomes for sale in Kalamazoo, waterfront, lakefront, the city name that you're in, Tampa, homes for sale. And then a lot of people have boards based on like an adjective first and then the word. So gorgeous homes, gorgeous properties, unique properties, waterfront properties, income properties, rental homes, commercial properties. So go and start just putting in searches, finding all the boards, and then doing another search and another search and another search until you are comfortable with this search process and you can see the trends for the words that people use. You know, some companies really like that word properties and some like the word homes. So it means the same thing, but you can see what's trending in your area and for the words that you want to use. Okay, so let's go live real quick. Sorry about that, hit the mic. And go back to my Pinterest here. So you can see up here in the search bar right here is where I would put the words that I'm looking for. So I put properties up here, and now I have a choice. Do I want to find individual pins, one pin at a time that has the word property in it? Do I want to find a whole entire board that has the word properties in the title of the board right here? Or do I want to find people? And that's people would be if you were trying to find your client so that you could follow them on here. You would put their name up here and then you search for people so that you can follow them on here. So that's what you would use that. But for the most part, we're going to be searching for boards. So I put properties up here. I picked boards right here, and then all these boards came up right here. All of them say properties in the title right here. Okay? So let's go back to one of the ones that I picked because I saw her on here. Right here. So it said Red-Headed Properties, and it had a great logo on here. Awesome. So I'm like, I want to see what that looked like. So what you would do, instead of clicking on the board, I want to see who it was. It's Cindy Marlowe is the one that created the board, but she owns the whole thing, okay? Just like here, Danbury Realtors, okay? So it's really, this is who owns the board. This is the name of the board, and then inside it, of course, all of these little things are the actual pins in there, okay? So let's click on Cindy, and now we see this is her whole account right here. So when she created this, remember we talked about your first name, your last name, and the About Me section? That's what this is. So she put in her section, Cindy was the first name, Marlowe was the last name. She put in where she's from, Denver, Colorado, and then she put on here her her words in here in the About Me section. Now you can see that you don't get a whole lot of space. It's kind of like Twitter. You're very limited, so that's why I said you have to be really selective of what you use. So she used a wholesaler of commercial and residential properties on here. And so those were her good keywords. So she's got wholesaler in there, she's got commercial, she's got residential, she's got properties. So those were good. Now instead of saying Cindy began her business in blah, 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 I would have put a website there. That would have made this killer on here so that people could follow and go right to where she is, okay? Yeah. She's got a great logo here. So, I mean, she must own this company and yeah, because it says Cindy began her business. So she owns this company, and she's trying to brand her company, not herself at this point, okay? So she's got her logo here, and now she's got all her boards going here. So the one that we saw was the Red-Headed Properties. But you can see she's definitely a real estate agent, and you can see, look at all the different categories or boards that she has. So she has her blog going. She's got outdoor places, great housewarming gifts, favorite recipes, properties that she has for sale, beautiful homes, interior decorating, fun like do-it-yourself ideas, why I love living in the city that she lives in, you know, mountain living. So she's got a lot of nice little home improvement. So you can get some good ideas, and this is the homework that I want you guys to do, is go and start using those keywords that we talked about, properties, homes for sale, houses for sale, blah, 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 to find these boards, and then start at the top and just click on every single one of them to see what ideas they had. Okay, he's just got one on luxury properties, so he's probably not a good one to follow. But see if there's anything on here that catches your eyes. You know, you can put a video section, so that would be a great category. So start making a list of boards and categories that might be interesting to you and what other people did. Okay, and we're going to cover this in depth next week on how to create it, different ideas that you can use for boards and things like that. So let's go ahead. I think we're just about finished, and it's a good thing. We
and they've been really. We've got all the questions answered. So Paul's been jamming on the questions. So Paul or Lauren, whichever one's doing that. So we're totally caught up on those. The only one is that Callie asked. She says, "Is there a way to find local pinners?" And I think maybe just searching your city for maybe like Kalamazoo Kalamazoo boards or something like that, or some way to search, find out local pinners in that respect. Of who maybe she's kind of thinking, okay, who's my competition that I'm competing against in Pinterest? I guarantee there's going to be very little, depending on
right. And we're going to cover that again next week on exactly how to get your followers, get who you want to get following, and all of that kind of stuff.
Excellent.
Okay,
Excellent.
so this is what we're covering next week, and I know we're over, so I don't want to take up. I know it's very valuable time that we've got here from you guys, so we appreciate you sticking around for just a few minutes early. So next week's class, we're going to go over for strategies on Pinterest. If you don't know why you're on Pinterest and you don't have a strategy and for doing what you do, then you're not going to be using it to the optimal thing that you can be using it for. So we're going to be talking about how to create a brand, whether you choose yourself or your company name, using those keywords, identifying who your customers are and what their habits are and what they like, okay? What's your purpose on here? To connect, to sell, to grow, to educate, to get new referral partners. What are your goals? How to stay consistent on here, how to get board ideas. We're going to actually critique some boards on here. So I've got several picked out already that I've already critiqued for some people, but I'm very happy to add a few more into the presentation. So if you'd like us to do that, again, do what Scott said and go onto our personal private Facebook fan page, and if you'll put I need your URL in there. So pick your board and just put the URL in there, and I'll go in and take a Jing photo of it and kind of do some critiquing. And the big thing is, how to get those followers, how to get people saying, ooh, I like you, I want to, see what you have to say. So those are all the things that we're going to cover next week. So, Scotty, I hope that I provided enough value and information for you guys today.
Yeah. My head's a little bit spinning right now because I actually come up with a couple ideas. Of course, every time I hear about Pinterest, and I'm going, okay, how does this fit? How can it fit with all the other stuff that we teach? And I got some stuff I'm going to put together after class. But I'm going to just steal the screen from you really quick just to, whoops, that didn't work. All right, let me try that again. Let me just go, for you guys that are left, I appreciate you guys hanging out. We've went over a little bit. So if you go, if you're first time coming to the class, go to facebook.com/groups/Agent Mastermind. It's a private group, and feel free to share any question you have or ask any question you have. It's private, so when you post in there, it stays inside the group. Only the people inside the group see your questions. And then also, if you want to share your Pinterest link with us so we can follow you, and then next week you're gonna, Tammy's gonna go over in depth how to brand yourself and all kinds of other stuff. So that's where we hang out. There's a ton of people in there. It's just a great group to grow and live and interact and engage and learn what's going on and what other people are asking. Typically, if you have a question, I'm sure that hundreds of other people have the same exact question, so everybody gets to learn from it. So it's monitored. You get help from your fellow peers, and it's just a really good time. So, Tammy, unbelievable class. I appreciate you being here today.
Hey, Scotty.
All the hard work you've put into this. Yeah.
Just one more thing, folks. From the questions that I've been getting, yes, there was a lot of content covered here today, and
amazing.
Yes, this class was 100% recorded from beginning to end, and the PowerPoint Tammy is going to make available for us. If you would it was hopeful thinking. I kind of threw it out there with my fingers crossed at the same time. But if you would like a copy of today or like to watch the recording, simply contact the loan professional that invited you here today. They'll get you hooked up with the recording and get you everything you need and questions answered. And if you need more guidance on how to get to the private groups, again, your loan professional who invited you will be more than happy to guide you to the replay and where the pages are and get you all the answers you need.
Absolutely. And if you, Tammy, there's a ton of I love yous coming in. I don't know what's going on here, but amazing. They say thanks for going over. We love hanging out with you, and tons of kudos coming in. If you liked what we shared today, could you just do us a favor and go to the Facebook fan page, the group actually, and just give Tammy some kudos. It kind of lets us know we're doing a good job. Tammy did a great job, and just kind of let us know what you liked about it, what you want more of. That helps us too when we put together our classes. It really does. So just share whatever. Be open and just don't be shy. And let's just grow together and have a successful year going forward. All right. Tammy,
Absolutely.
again, I can't thank you enough. I appreciate you. Love you. And
thank you. And guys, this again, I can't emphasize enough that this social media platform was made for you.
Amazing.
I can't, above any other one, I believe that this one was made like, the Cinderella slipper for you guys. It's a perfect fit, okay?
Yeah.
So even if you're not ready today to do it, hire an assistant. Find someone, who can help you get this set up, because I really, truly believe if done correctly, which we're going to go over next week, this can really help you explode your business.
Awesome. Again, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys hanging with us. I know you could be anywhere, and you chose to spend it with us, and we really, truly appreciate that. Again, go join our group, hang out with us, ask any questions, and Tammy, we'll see you right here next week on Agent Mastermind. Have a great rest of the week, everybody.
The organizer has